Boom! Here we are in the shop. Ben from Ben's Backwoods. We're going to do a quick review of one of my favorite multi-purpose Mora knives. This is the Mora Kansbol. Stay tuned. We're going to get right into it. Alright, here we go. Mora Kansbol. I am a huge Mora fan. I've been using Mora knives for many years. In general, for bushcraft and camping type stuff, I carry a carbon steel Mora knife. These Kansbols happen to be a stainless steel. This is their 12C27 stainless, which is fantastic. And why I'm calling this probably the best, I think one of the best designed multi-purpose Mora knives. Because of the stainless steel, I feel like this is probably a little better for food prep, that type of thing. You've got a lot of belly on this curve on the front of this knife blade here. So this is, I've used these for opening up for skinning animals, opening up white-tailed deer, that type of thing. So that's a real handy feature. This is kind of, I think they call it like a profile grind. They have their standard Scandinavian bevel back here, which still does well for carving feather sticks and stuff like that. We'll get into that in a minute. But then it kind of thins out on the tip here, and that bevel kind of continues, but it's really really thin. This thin bevel in the front makes it easy, and also the blade, the spine, if you can see that, the spine of this thing thins right out in the front here. This makes the front of this knife and all the belly in the front of this knife really thin for slicing, for skinning animals, for slicing through food prep type stuff. We'll do some of that in a second. So as far as a multi-purpose knife, they've got the spine on this thing. It's nice and squared off, running a fire steel. Stainless steel, I keep one of these in my vehicle or in a pack in my vehicle. I am not worried about it rusting because of the stainless steel. This stainless steel is still hard enough to hold an excellent edge. Like I said, I've skinned out plenty of deer with this, and the spine will still run a fire steel. It's great for food prep. So as a multi-purpose Mora knife, I think this is a really tough model to beat. I like the size of that handle is really comfortable. This is I tether a little fire steel usually to my knives. I usually put a net cord on them, but that just a very basic tube-like sheath on this one. They do make a multi-mount, but this is their base model, and it's a pretty secure sheath. I usually wear these as a neck knife, but you know, it's got kind of a locking mechanism in there. It's fairly easy to pull out. When you push it in, you can kind of hear it lock in. So this is very wearing it around your neck. It's really unobtrusive. This tube like this, it's not really wide. So this is a really practical, comfortable sheath. This they do have a nice belt loop through the back of this one, if you want to throw this on your belt. Overall, though, I've been real happy with this design. This is similar design to that Mora 2000. I was using the Mora 2000 many years ago, and this is kind of an updated version. I like this version better. I like the handle better. It's got a little rubber texture on the grip there. Let's see here. We are probably about a 4 1/4 inch blade, somewhere in there, and about just about 9 inches overall. It's just a really handy sized knife. So stay tuned. We're going to cut some food on a cutting board here and show you what I'm talking about on this the front of this thing, how it's thinned out and how it works well for food. So hang on for a second. So here we are with the cutting board and a little bit of food. I think this is kind of a good camp food here, and kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about on the blade on this thing on the front. So like I said, this blade kind of really thins out here on the front, and it's makes it nice and easy for cutting through food and for food prep, for skinning animals. So here's a big chunk of pepperoni here. What I like to do is I like to start the cut with the front of the knife, just because it's really thinned out there, and that slides through that pepperoni nice and easy. So that's using the front of the knife there. Here's some, I think this is some Asiago cheese, and yeah, that's just glides right through that stuff. Perfect. stainless steel, you don't get any of the carbon taste. Sometimes using carbon knives for food prep, you'll get a little of kind of an acid taste in your mouth. So that's nice and easy. Then here's the big test here is this is a Roma tomato. Tomatoes are usually kind of tough, so we'll like I said, I start the cut with the front of the knife here, and then if you got to continue down, that knife, the way it's thinned out like that with that small bevel, just doesn't have a whole lot of shoulder in there. This regular Scandi blade is got a nice wide shoulder in there, and so the wide shoulder kind of inhibits slicing through foods, where the front of this knife really shines. Like I said, I feel like it's a very multi-purpose design. So this is something I definitely keep in my vehicle. I keep one in my my cook box, that type of thing. So that's the Kansbol there, doing a little food prep. So here we are outdoors with our Mora Kansbol multi-use Mora knife, and we are going to let's see, baton. I'm going to split this up, carve ourselves a little feather stick, and start it on fire. So here we go. I have no problem doing light batoning with Mora knives. It's kind of a tappy. Twist there. And that's some nice, pretty clear grained cedar. So even though this does not have a full Scandi grind all the way up, these still make pretty good bush knives. So here we are. So I'm going to take this and clean this off a little bit. And like I said, you still have your Scandi bevel all through here basically. So for any feather sticks and carving type stuff, works great. You do, because of the thinned out point and all the belly that you get in this blade, you do lose some of the fine carving ability. And you know, in a multi-purpose design, it's not going to do everything excellent. So you definitely lose some of that fine carving ability. But for what it is, it still gets a lot done, and it's still a great knife. You can't have everything. A lot of knives are purpose built. So carving knives, you'll have a real thin blade, sharp point. This knife is a little more multi-purpose, so let's see if we can clean this thing up a little bit and see if we can get a couple, get this thing to feather a little bit. Just working that. So this with that bevel on there like that, it works just like any other Scandi ground Mora knife. Try to light this with the fire steel. Get some nice little curls in there. And the spine on this thing comes squared off really nice, and so I have no problem running a fire steel with it. And the stainless steel blade is not quite as hard as carbon steel, but still no issue. So there's a little trick I do for lighting feather sticks. Take the tip of that knife and score some lines. If you guys can see this, understand what I'm doing here. And I'm just taking that tip, scoring those lines. And what this is going to do is hopefully give me some really fine curls. They're going to be lit with that fire steel. Got our fire steel in here. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we can do here. Like I said, spine is plenty sharp and hard to run fire steel. So. Oh, had her. It's kind of windy out today, but there we go. No problem feathering that up and running that fire steel to get a fire going. So, like I said, really multi-purpose design. I would have no problem if this is the only knife I had in the bush with me. But like I said, I use this for opening up white-tailed deer, skinning deer, food prep, and basic bushcraft chores. So, hey, thanks for watching. Love to hear your comments below. Definitely check out my website. I've got links to my website, Facebook, Instagram, and hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you.